blesse mon cœur d'une langueur monotone. Je répète, blesse mon cœur d'une langueur monotone.
Hey everybody, Dutch Sense here. 11:42 p.m. Central Time on Saturday, February 7th, 2015. And something has just developed I want to draw your attention to. I've been talking about this for the last several days. Now we're seeing it happen. A 4.0 and 3.0 struck back to back in southern New Mexico. And this is very rare. Don't normally see this kind of activity down there at all. I want to go ahead and show you guys what resides at the earthquake epicenter. Now, I've already done a full blog post on this, took screenshots. Okay, let me just click on this. This gives you a nice little idea of what we're dealing with here. Okay, and you might want to full screen it to get a better look at this, but we're looking at an old, dormant, volcanic field. And right nearby is Providence Cone. It looks like some kind of little state park here, maybe. And this one's being mined out. But if there's any doubt about it, let me just bring it in and show you on Google Earth. And let me center this back north. Of course, we've got our coordinates up here in the left-hand corner. Let me just go ahead and show you those are from the USGS. Okay, we'll click on Summary. Here we go. So we're looking at 107,300 west. Okay, there it is. And we'll hit search just to show you. It brings us back in on this earthquake epicenter up here, which I've already marked. Okay, so let's just back this out and take a look at the greater area, and you'll see each one of these is an old dormant cone, and it goes on and on and on. I mean, we're talking, probably hundreds of different volcanic craters that exist at this location, many of them unnamed. So don't think that the USGS has come through and named every single volcano that's out there, because there are literally tens of thousands of them in the western United States, and several of them are very, very ancient that haven't seen any activity in a long time. So for us to see some kind of earthquake activity developing between two clearly volcanic areas, and this area up here to the north is as well, that lets you know something's going on. Now I want to also draw your attention to what's happened off the west coast. We've seen 6 different dormant volcanoes show earthquake activity. Earlier today, Louisiana Butte, Volcano Butte in California. This is the same thing here. We've got a cone here, and the lava, of course, is weathered down over time. You can come back in and inspect each of these locations on your own. On February 5th, right next to Black Rock Desert cone, and here's our lavic flow. That was in central Utah. Rather rare. Don't normally see a lot of earthquake movement in Utah. On the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, but mainly on the 4th, we saw a kickback up at the dormant volcano at the border of New Mexico and Arizona. And let me just show you where that is in perspective here. It's just west of this swarm location. So dormant volcano showed activity here over the last several days. Now here. Not too far away from each other, guys. And let's get back over to the post. And again, none of these areas have erupted in thousands, if not tens of thousands or millions of years. On February 3rd, Crater Mountain in California, part of a greater lavic complex here, and we've got Red Mountain marked there, the only one named, but right next to it, Crater Mountain, and on the flanks of Crater Mountain, of course, an earthquake. Now, why are the earthquakes happening slightly offset from the old dormant volcanoes? The crust has moved a certain distance in the time between the time that it erupted and where we are now, and the magma chamber stays down below. So as the crust moves over the top, like Hawaii forms, or Yellowstone has blasted out multiple spots across the plate as the plate has moved. Let's just go down the list, carry on. On the 3rd again, Cerro Prieto, just south of Salton Sea, in Salton Sea, California. Again, earthquake, dormant volcano. And let's show you where Salton Sea is. Salton Sea right here. Volcano was roughly right here, right along this line. So we have the dormant volcano here showing activity, dormant volcano here showing activity, and the one we're talking about here today. Let's go back and look at the final earthquake, and this is a swarm that actually has developed over the last several months. This is occurring in northwest Nevada. Let me click on this so you can get a better view of it. Now this is just one. These are little buttes that have formed, just like all the others that we've been looking at here. Small little domes of lava that press up on the edge of a fault zone and form into small volcanoes and sometimes rifts. So we're back here looking at the earthquake in question, and it's pretty large for the area. I would dare say it's not record-breaking, but right up there with one of the larger ones that have been in the state history. That's a lot going on, guys. I mean, really, that's a lot of volcanic activity to see, and that I haven't even mentioned the plumes. I'll put a link down below to the series of plumes that erupted from oil and gas wells yesterday, and that occurred yesterday afternoon. Also, I'll put a link down below to my blog post, which covers the 14 different eruptions at Colima volcano yesterday, 3 different eruptions at Popocatépetl yesterday, and of course, we've got a new eruption in Guatemala that just occurred at Fuego that caused evacuations. People have to be sheltering in place as the ash is falling down on the surrounding towns here. What else did I not mention? Oh, Piton de Fournaise over in the French Reunion Islands erupting, and the Japan eruptions. I mean, this is a lot of activity to talk about here, guys. I mean, we're just talking volcanic eruptions. I haven't even gotten into really any more earthquakes other than these and what's causing them. Now, let's just look at the earthquakes really quick over the last 7 days. All of these 4.0 earthquakes, several of them have been downgraded to 3.9, 3.8, but I mean, we're talking 13 different events over the last 2 weeks in Oklahoma. So that really lets you know the pressure has been building along the edge of the plate. We have the plumes down here to the south and dormant volcanoes down here to the south and up the west coast. And why is that occurring? Look what's happening around the rest of the planet. We have deep asthenosphere earthquakes that are happening at 350 plus miles deep. That's displacing the entire western portion of the Pacific plate, which then displaces the United States. Our eruptions in Mexico down here to the south, look at the earthquake activity that accompanies that volcanic movement. Now we do need to watch. Now that this whole area is moved, now that we've seen dormant volcanoes kick off on the west coast, this lets you know Pacific is primed for a larger event. Also, East Coast, we're going to have to see some compensation movement here fairly soon. Okay, so we're having 2 areas to watch now in the United States, and Pacific-wise, you'll have to go watch my other earthquake update. Don't have time to get into it here, guys, but watch my other international update to let you know where we're watching internationally. It's a lot of activity to see. If you're in Europe, of course, you're not immune either. You can see the earthquakes spill over from the Pacific across Asia and go right over to your doorstep, where we saw that activity even in North Algeria, going over towards Gibraltar, up into Poland, and up into England last week. Now, all that was forecast, by the way. So be safe, have an earthquake plan ready, be prepared. This just lets you know. I mean, really, guys, when was the last time I had to report on a 4.0 or greater or any earthquake in New Mexico that wasn't fracking associated? To see it at dormant volcanoes, that's troubling to me. It lets you know that there's a lot of pressure building and it's displacing old magma chambers that normally would have been silent for eons.